It's Dana again. I'm actually going to do a review of something I enjoy. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this because I know there's some people out there that don't like this film. I don't really understand why, but, you know, that's another story. But anyway, the movie that I'm going to review today is He Knows You're Alone. And I believe it was the first movie that Tom Hanks was in. Definitely the first horror movie that I knew that he was in. And it pretty much concerns a guy that's killing young women that are about to get married or that have an association with any young woman that's about to get married. Evidently he was jilted as a younger man. His girlfriend evidently left him and ended up marrying or trying to marry someone else, and he killed her before she could marry the guy. So he's still, I guess, pretty angry, so he's still out killing these young women, and he's stalking them, and there's a lot of stalking shots of the guy, like, watching them from the woods, like they're jogging. A couple of the girls are jogging and he's watching them, and like peeping through the windows and things like that. But unlike the other film that I reviewed, Unhinged, this one doesn't take a lot of time before it kicks into high gear. I mean, you have a kill at least in the first 15 or 20 minutes, and I really like the setup of the first kill, because when the film starts, and I hope I'm not giving too much away, I may ought to put a warning on here about some spoilers, but at the beginning of the film, you see a couple in the car making out, and it's your typical situation where the guy's really pretty much wanting to get down to business, and the girl's like, no, you know, she feels uncomfortable, and you know, it's one of your typical horror movie things. So eventually someone's like pecking on the car and, you know, making all kinds of noises, and the guy gets really aggravated, so he gets out of the car. And he doesn't come back for a while, so the girl gets really concerned, so she gets out of the car to look for him, because she keeps hearing this noise. Eventually she sees the guy hanging upside down, and it's like the old urban legend story. The guy's ring scraping on the top of the car was actually making the noise that she was so concerned about hearing. But instead of this being an actual part of the movie, it turns out that this part was a film that two young women are watching, and one of the women must be a real big horror fan because she enjoys it. The other woman is not too thrilled about it, and she's like, I want to go home, and this movie is really scary, I can't take this movie anymore. And her friend's like, no, this is great, we gotta stay. So finally the girl that doesn't like the movie goes downstairs to the bathroom, and then she comes back, sits down by her friend, and she's still uncomfortable, and she's just begging her friend, let's go home, please, I can't watch this anymore. Well, her friend doesn't listen to her. Well, a guy comes in, sits behind the girl that's all scared, she's feeling really uncomfortable, and her friend's not really paying attention, and during one of the big parts of the film that they're watching, the guy stabs her through her seat, and her friend doesn't know for a few minutes that she's dead, and that kind of like opens the movie for you. And from then on out, it's pretty, you know, pretty much I thought a roller coaster ride of, you know, you have a few slow parts, but that, you know, kind of goes with any film. And I was impressed with the suspense. I was impressed with the kills. They had one really memorable kill where a girl's head ends up in the fish tank. And I think I've seen this done in other films later, but this was really the first time I'd ever seen that particular effect done, and I was really impressed with it for the time. 1980, I believe, was when this film came out. I was impressed with that. I thought the effects were really good. I've heard from other people that they think the movie's boring, but I just don't see that. I thought it was creepy. I thought it was suspenseful. Had some good kills in it. The acting was good. One character I really did like, and he was kind of like a secondary character, was Don Scardino's character. He played Marvin in the movie, and he was sort of, I guess, like comic relief. He worked in a morgue and was interested. He was studying at college, I think, to get into some kind of forensics field. But so he was into all kinds of morbid stuff, and he kind of had a thing for the main girl played by Caitlin O'Haney. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Evidently, the backstory on them is that they had dated maybe a year or two ago, and she, for some reason, I think he left for the summer, and she took up with this other guy, but he was still in love with her, so he kind of likes hanging around her and stuff. But I thought he was a really interesting character. So it had interesting characters in it. Like I said, it was suspenseful, creepy, had good effects. Had Tom Hanks in a small role. I heard that actually Tom Hanks was supposed to have a bigger role, and he was supposed to get killed in the movie, but I think the filmmakers liked Tom Hanks and liked the character so well that they just cut out the scene where he got killed, or didn't film it or something. So you get to see him at an amusement park. He ends up meeting one of the other girls while she's jogging, and they all end up going to the amusement park together with Caitlin O'Haney's character. And so I thought that was a fun little bit. You can kind of see Tom Hanks' comedic, some of the comedic aspects of his personality coming out. And of course, this was before Bosom Buddies, for any of you that have ever watched Bosom Buddies. So I think this film had a lot going for it, and it's one that I like to get out every once in a while and watch. It never gets boring to me. This version actually has commentary by the filmmakers on it. Armin Mastroianni directed this, and Scott Parker wrote the screenplay. So they do the commentary. So there's a commentary, and there's also a theatrical trailer. There's not really much else to it as far as special features, but I was really pleased with the movie. So, like I said, I can't really understand the people that say that it's boring, but you know, maybe there's some things that I think is boring that other people think is great. So I guess, you know, we can't all like the same things. So I would, if you haven't seen He Knows You're Alone, I'd give it a try, because I think it's worth a watch. And I think right now you can get it pretty cheap. Some people may have gotten it for like $5 or somewhere abouts. You might even be able to catch it at Walmart on the $5 rack, or the $5.50 rack. They don't really have the bins anymore at a lot of the Walmarts. It's more like a shelf. Anyway, check out He Knows You're Alone if you haven't seen it before, or maybe if you haven't seen it in a while and you thought it was boring the first time you watched it, give it another try. I think it's worth watching. Might be a good one to watch this Halloween. So, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to have another one of these up maybe in a few days.